Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So Ole Gunnar Solsjaer and Mike Phelan have become withdrawn and our squad are beginning to lose confidence in the backroom staff. Now Ole Gunnar Solsjaer is under serious pressure at the football club. We have endured a very poor start to the season. We have lost 3 of our first 6 Premier League games, and all these defeats have come at Old Trafford. It's our worst start at Old Trafford for around 50 years, so we have not yet won at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. We've lost 4 games in all competitions because we recently lost to Istanbul Başakşehir by 2-1 in the Champions League group stage, and that was an embarrassing defeat. It was our first defeat in the group stage because we'd endured a fantastic start to our Champions League campaign because we'd had back-to-back wins against PSG and RB Leipzig. And it was Istanbul Başakşehir's first ever win in the Champions League, and obviously they were formed in 1990. We are sitting 15th in the Premier League table, so we are near the relegation zone. If we was to lose to Everton today, then I think we would be only 1 point above relegation. If we lose today against Everton or even draw, Ole Gunnar Solsjaer could be sacked as Manchester United manager, but it isn't fully assured that he will be sacked if we fail to beat them, but he could be. Now, it's recently said that Man United are still backing Ole Gunnar Solsjaer because they're happy with the work that they have overseen. Now, I'll give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference yesterday building up to this game. And Solskjaer insists that he will be successful at Manchester United. He trusts the players to respond. And he says that he's got the full backing of the board. And he says he and the board are planning long term. Now, Mauricio Pochettino is the favourite to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the football club. Now, the Manchester Evening News recently said that Manchester United have approached Mauricio Pochettino over becoming the club's new manager. Now, Pochettino was linked with the managerial role at Manchester United after Jose Mourinho got sacked. Pochettino's been linked with other clubs as well, not only Manchester United. Obviously, Man City have been in for him. Real Madrid have been in for him before. The other week it said Zenit St. Petersburg were in talks. I think Barcelona have been interested. At one point, Newcastle were interested. Would Pochettino be the right manager for Manchester United? You know, if he was to be recommended into the football club, who would he bring in? What players would he get rid of? More than likely demand a director of football. Would our current board back him? But I think, Mauricio Pochettino is a much better manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Main explanations, Pochettino is well Premier League proven. He's dealt with top players. His philosophy is good. My only element of concern about him, he has not won anything in terms of silverware. Pochettino has been managerless now for like a year, and he was talking on Monday Night Football, don't forget, and he said he misses football and he's ready to return to management. Pochettino did endure 5.5 years with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four. He did guide Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last year. He also guided them to the League Cup final and he guided them to 2 FA Cup semi-finals. Before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton. He enjoyed a short tenure with Southampton, but he guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League era. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. So he's managed 3 clubs so far in his managerial career. If we do appoint Pochettino in, he will be our 5th permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. It also mentions that we've been looking at Julian Nagelsmann from RB Leipzig. Julian Nagelsmann is regarded as one of the best young coaches in the world. Obviously, at RB Leipzig, he's done quite well. Last season got them 3rd place finish. Last season, he guided them to the Champions League semi-final. It also mentions that we've obviously been looking at Massimiliano Allegri. He's another alternative to Pochettino. But in a way, I do feel sorry for Ole Gunnar Solsjaer because I think he's in a position that he shouldn't even be in. I think the club made a mistake by giving him the job permanently. But the main explanation for giving the job permanently was reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But I think the club have made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years or so. That's one of the main explanations why we have been so inconsistent. Nothing's changed in the last 7 years or so. Not all of the blame stems from Ole reflecting on our inconsistency. There's definitely certain players that have got to take responsibility. Obviously, there's a lot of Manchester United fans that have said, the board need to go. Because obviously the board have not backed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough. He wasn't backed enough in the summer transfer window because we missed out on all of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority targets. I don't think any of our managers have been backed enough since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. So Moyes wasn't backed enough, Van Gaal wasn't backed enough, Mourinho wasn't backed enough, and Solskjaer obviously hasn't been backed enough. But our recruitment policy has been very, very poor for several years. Woodward's been at the football club since 2012 and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. By the way, Patrice Evra's come out and defended Ole Solskjaer and he said the board should be sacked before Ole's sacked. But Solskjaer revealed a few times during the summer transfer window that, he was very, very infuriated with the board. Now, like I've said to you so many times before, I want Ole Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club to work out. But it's not going to work out, unfortunately. Solskjaer hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager. Manchester United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. But my perceptions on him when he was a player are totally different now to how he was as to how he is as a manager. Because as a player, I thought he was very, very good. Ole Solskjaer's in his 2nd full season as Manchester United manager. He has managed 101 games for Man United in all competitions. So today's game is his 102nd game in charge. He has got a contract with the football club until 2022. So obviously if we sack him, we're going to have to pay to get rid of him. He's been at the club now though for almost 2 years. I think, he has had long enough. But at Manchester United, there's no style of play, there's no tactics, there's no system, there's still no philosophy. There's a hell of a lot of problems at the football club that do need to be solved. And I said to you, what would represent a good season for Man United this season? That would be a top 4 finish and win a trophy. And obviously, that's not going to happen, the way things are going. So quite frankly, we have to win today's game for Solsjaer to remain at the football club, don't we? But I think Ole is in the exact same position as what he was in at the first part of last season, because at the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. And at that point, Solskjaer was very, very close to getting sacked by the football club. But Ole is our 4th permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We've seen 3 managers sacked since the Ferguson era, and that was David Moyes. He endured 8.5, 9 months. We finished 7th under the David Moyes era. I think that's lowest we finished in the Premier League era. We obviously sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years. We did win the FA Cup under him. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield in his first season. So Man United are not really known as a sacking football club. Obviously, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for over 7 years. But our success came under Sir Alex Ferguson. Ferguson endured 27 years at Manchester United, won a total of 38 major honours, including 13 Premier League titles, and no manager at Man United or no manager in general will replicate his legacy or last as long as he did. But Alex Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. Did he? And Jurgen Klopp, he didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool, but look how good he is now. But since Ferguson left, we've been inconsistent. Before Ferguson was in the equation, we was inconsistent because we was poor under Ron Atkinson, we was poor under Wolf McGuinness, and we was very, very poor under Frank O'Farrell. We got relegated under Frank O'Farrell back in 1974, which is good 40 odd years ago now. We have spent nearly £1 billion on players in the last 7 years or so. This includes what we've obviously spent under Ole Solsjaer. Solsjaer, when he first came in at the club, he was inheriting a lot of deadwood, wasn't he? Obviously, he's got rid of a lot of the deadwood though since he came in, but he's still inheriting some deadwood now. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, don't forget. Now, I think in a lot of Ole Solskjaer's games at Manchester United, he's been very tactically naive. That's another worry as well. But, like I've said to you before, there's not all negativity regarding Solskjaer. There's positive to take from his managerial tenure at Man United. He's made some good signings since he's come in. He's spent over £200 million at the football club. Ole's endured around 4 transfer windows. Like I said, he's got rid of a lot of players. I like the way he has promoted the youth. He showed a lot of tactical flexibility in a lot of the big games as Ole. Our record against the top 6 sides has been very, very good, to be fair, since he got appointed in, especially last season. And we've had some good periods under him. Last season, Solskjaer did well because he got us to 3 semi-finals. He got us qualification for the Champions League, and he also got us 3rd. Did Ole. And last season was his first full season at the football club. So yeah, they are the positives you can take. But yeah, a big, massive game for Manchester United today against Everton. It's Ole Solskjaer's biggest game in his managerial career, I've got to say. I'm not expecting Man United to win this game. You know, Everton are currently sitting 4th in the Premier League. They've won 4 games in the league so far this season. They have lost their last 2, though, in the league. They lost to Newcastle and they lost to Southampton. Everton's current manager is Carlo Ancelotti. And Solsjaer, you know, admired Carlo Ancelotti and Dominic Calvert-Lewin during the press conference. You know, Carlo Ancelotti's been in charge of Everton now for almost a year. And when Everton appointed him in, he signed a 4.5-year deal. You know, he's won around, 15 major honours so far in his managerial career. You know, he's obviously won Premier League, he's won Champions Leagues and all of that. So he's got a good pedigree behind him. You know, Everton did good recruitment in the summer transfer window. They obviously brought James Rodriguez in. They brought Decore in. They brought Ben Godfrey in. They brought Olsen in. They brought Allen in. So yeah, they made some very, very good signings. But yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the danger man. Richie Arlington suspended for today, as you all know. I think Andre Gomez has been injured recently for Everton, but it could be available today. James Rodriguez is back for them. Seamus Coleman's out. I think he won't be playing today for them. Mason Holgate, I don't think he's available either. And I don't think Gavin Main's available. The fixture last season was 1-1 at Goodison and it was also 1-1 at Old Trafford. We've lost a few times at Goodison Park in recent years. You know, we lost there 4-0 back in April 2019 under Ollie. You know, we lost there 3-0 under Louis van Gaal era and we lost there 2-0 under the David Moyes era. And Moyes was sacked after that 2-0 defeat to Everton. So is Solsjaer going to be sacked after an Everton game? You know, after the Everton game, it is the international break. The good news from our perspective is that Alex Telles has been back in training, so he could be making his Premier League debut today for the football club. And I think Alex Telles is going to be a good signing for Manchester United. You know what I mean? But yeah, match action will be coming up later on today for that game. And then I think we're going to know where we stand with Ollie, aren't we? We're obviously making plans for next year, aren't we? Because next year, we're obviously looking to make more signings. Because I still think Manchester United need a centre-half. We need someone to go alongside Maguire. And I think, you know, we also need a right winger. I think in January, we could revive our interest in Ousmane Dembele. It says that we're going to go for Dayot Upamecano next summer. Because he'll be available for around £38 million. That's when his release clause will be active. The other few weeks ago, it said we could go in for Adama Traore in January. He's a right winger, can also play as a wing-back. You know, will we revive our interest in Jadon Sancho next year, do you think? You know, we will have to see. Erling Haaland might go in for him next year. I said it was a shame when we start on him in January because he would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. We're also going to try and get rid of more players next year because he's still deadwood in the squad. I think next year we'll be looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard. We'll be also looking to get rid of Rojo, Jones, Romero. Romero's obviously now our third choice goalkeeper. Romero said he wants his contract terminated. I think we could loan Daniel James out next year. We could also loan Brandon Williams out. Could we sell Matic next year? And he has been playing recently, but he's still lost his place in the team. And could we sell Juan Mata next year? I'm expecting Odi Nagalo to leave the club when his loan expires in January. So, there you go. Paul Pogba, we're also expecting him to leave next year. Now, there's some good players at Manchester United, like I've said before. I think Marcus Rashford is very, very good. He hasn't done well, though, in his last couple of games, but don't forget Rashford scored a hat-trick against RB Leipzig. He became the second Manchester United player to score a hat-trick as a substitute. He also scored the late winner in Paris, and that's the second time he'd done that. Rashford's improved under the Ole Solsjaer era. Not so long ago, turned 23. Rashford has been at the football club now for over 15 years, because he's been at United since the age of 7, hasn't he? And he's been in our senior squad since like 2016. And since then has become an integral part of our team. I'm expecting him to be playing today against Everton. Anthony Martial, I like him a lot. He's going to be available for today because he's now served his 3-match suspension as Anthony Martial. But he hasn't enjoyed the best of starts of the season as Martial. Looked a bit off the pace in that, and his hold-up play hasn't been that good. But I thought last season was good under Ollie, and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial's endured over 5 years or so at the football club. Paid around 36 million for him from Monaco, rising up to 58 million based on goals and achievements, I think it said. Mason Greenwood. Now, I think he's a very good player, and I think he's a foreseeable future for Man United. Mason Greenwood broke into our first team squad last season, didn't he? So this is his second season in the senior squad. Solskjaer's been defending Mason Greenwood in recent weeks, hasn't he? And at the start of the season, I had a few issues with him because he was getting withdrawn from the England squad a few times. And at the start of the season, it confirmed that we had given him the number 11 shirt, Mason Greenwood. Juan Mata, I think he's also a good player. But Juan Mata is now aging up. And like I've said numerous times before, he's lost that yard of pace. In the games Juan Mata's played in this season, well, in the vast majority of his games, he's played in this season, he's done very, very well. Juan Mata did well in both our Carabao Cup games against Brighton and Luton, and he also did very, very well in the Newcastle game. Juan Mata's enjoyed a good 6 years or so at the football club. We paid just under £40 million in from Chelsea back in 2014. And he scored 50 goals for the football club in all competitions. Now, Bruno Fernandes, I think he's also very, very good, and he's one of the best players Man United have got, and one of the best signings we've made for such a long time, I'd say. He's probably the best sign we've made under Ollie. But Bruno Fernandes was absolutely terrible against Istanbul Başakşehir. Like I mentioned, he was dispossessed 34 times, and he was very, very poor on the ball. There's been a couple of games where he's looked off the pace, but in the vast majority of his games, he's been very, very consistent. Bruno Fernandes is the one that could actually get Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the sack from the club, because obviously Bruno Fernandes isn't happy. Not so long ago, Bruno Fernandes was talking about Paul Pogba, saying he can form an effective partnership with him and that, and his relationship with Paul Pogba He's good on and off the pitch, and he said they both speak Italian to each other. Don't forget, Bruno Fernandes denied that he had a bust-up with Solsjaer during our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. Because then he was saying like Bruno Fernandes lost faith in him and he was demanding him out of the club and he was very infuriated with our board. But Fabrizio Romano confirmed that wasn't true at that current time. He's enjoyed 9 months with us, yeah. You know, last season won Premier League Player of the Month, I think at least, was it 3 times? And he's also won some Matt Busby Player of the Year award. Bruno Fernandes. You know, will he start today against Everton? He scored in the fixture last season, didn't he? If he does start, he'll probably start ahead of Van der Beek. Unless they both play, I don't know. Probably not. Donny van der Beek, you know, I think he's also very, very good for Man United. And I want him to start today. If he does, it will be his full Premier League debut because at the moment, he's not yet made his full Premier League debut for the football club, Donny van der Beek. He has started, though, our last 2 Champions League games, Donny van der Beek, hasn't he? He started against Leipzig and he started against Istanbul, Besiktas. We paid £40 million for Donny van der Beek from Ajax, didn't we? And he signed a 5-year contract with a football club with an option of a further year, and he currently wears that number 34 shirt. Now, I think Fred's good, but he's not world class. But Fred didn't play any part against Besiktas. He played in the Arsenal game. I thought he was very, very poor in the Arsenal game. Lost the ball far too many times. But in his 4 previous games prior to the Arsenal one, I thought he was very, very consistent. And, you know, we paid big money for Fred. We paid 52 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. And he's been playing a lot alongside McTominay recently. And I think he's probably going to go with Fred and McTominay today together, is Ollie. McTominay, same sort of perception as what I've got of McTominay. What I've got of Fred, sorry. You know, McTominay's good when he wants to be, but he's not a world-class midfielder, Scott McTominay. He'll probably start ahead of Matic, won't he? I don't see Matic starting today. Matic can be good when he wants to be. I think he's enjoyed some good games as a Man United player, but again, not world-class. He's always been described as a very slow player as Matic, but at times his hold-up play can be very, very good. You know, we paid around £40 million for Matic from Chelsea back in 2017. So Matic has been at the football club now over 3 years. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think Eric Bailly's a very good centre-half, but he's too injury-prone. That's, you know, the problem. You know, Bailly's out for a few weeks with a muscle injury, isn't he? I think Wan-Bissaka, you know, he's good. But he's also enjoyed some poor games as a Man United player, hasn't he? Hasn't done well in the last couple of games, Wan-Bissaka. But I still think he's a foreseeable future for Manchester United. You know, this is Wan-Bissaka's 2nd season at the club. We got him in a deal worth around £50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. De Gea, I've got to credit him because he's rejuvenated himself recently. De Gea will remain our number 1 this season. So there you go. And I think Tellez will be a good signing for us, like I said. Yeah, I think there's also players that are poor at Manchester United. You know, I think Paul Pogba's very poor. Daniel James is now poor. I think Victor Lindelof is poor, to be honest with you, and he's nowhere near on Harry Maguire's level. Obviously, you know, the likes of Lingard's poor, but he doesn't get in our team now anyway. Jones has been inconsistent. Jones has been out of injury and he's recently had an operation. Rojo's been poor, but let's be honest, he's never really established himself as a first-team regular as Marcus Rojo. Luke Shaw's poor sometimes as well, but he's also had some very good games as a Man United player. Harry Maguire, he's enjoyed quite a lot of poor games at Manchester United. He's certainly not a world-class centre-half for us. You know, we overpaid for him because we got him in a deal worth £80 million. He had early season troubles, didn't he, Maguire? Don't forget. Axel Tuanzebe, haven't really got a perception on him at the moment. He was very, very good against PSG. You know, that was his first start for Man United in like 10 months, but he was very, very poor against Istanbul Besiktas. He was at fault for their first goal, Axel Tuanzebe, but I'd probably still prefer him over Victor Lindelof if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I really, really would. So yeah, that's everything to update you today, guys. So drop your comments, like, explore the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you guys all again very, very soon.